We now go inside out with the aforementioned Ian Begley. And Ian, NBA free agency officially begins Monday at 6 p.m. Who are some realistic targets for the Knicks?
You know, the Knicks, you look at what they have, Eamon. They have this $5 million exception to offer free agents. They also have the veterans minimum exception. So they have some tools to go out there and talk to free agents with. And I think Tyus Jones is a name that I'm keeping an eye on because last summer there was mutual interest between the Knicks and Jones was even willing to take a pay cut to come to New York. He ended up choosing Phoenix, thinking it would be a very good situation for him. Didn't work out, so he's back on the market. I do think the Knicks will take a look at the backup guard market there on free agency. And then also Al Horford, I'm keeping an eye on his situation in Boston. Boston having to shed a lot of money, trying to get under the second apron, CBA term that's going to put a lot of people to sleep, but it's important because they don't have a lot of money to offer Horford right now this summer. The Knicks could probably offer him more than the Celtics can, so you'll see what happens there. But I'm sure Boston is going to really make a strong push to keep their veteran.
Now, Ian, whoever they sign, someone has to coach these guys. So what's the latest on the Knicks coaching search?
Yeah, the four known interviewees, James Borrego, Micah Nori, you had Taylor Jenkins, and you had Mike Brown. I think that, you know, we're getting closer here. I'd be surprised if this thing, you know, dragged on beyond this coming week. But, you know, it's been a strange one just because you would think that the coach would be in place before free agency. It does create an odd wrinkle here. You're talking to free agents without knowing who the head coach is. It's a sell, but it's a sell that's missing an important element. So I do think we're getting closer here. I would still expect it to be, at the end of the day, a coach with head coaching experience that the Knicks end up with when they do make that final decision.
Now, this may or may not be Knick-related, but LeBron James in the news once again, exercising his $52.6 million player option. So he's opting in for the 2025-2026 season. His agent, Rich Paul, telling ESPN that LeBron wants to win a championship. What's the reaction been around the NBA to that news?
Yeah, a lot of eyebrows raised. I mean, I'm sure the Knicks and everybody else are at least trying to do their due diligence and seeing what LeBron wants to do, what he doesn't want to do, what's possible, what isn't possible. I don't care where you are in the team building process. I don't care what it would cost. You have to at least kick the tires on a potential LeBron James trade if it is indeed out there. I'm not saying the Knicks have made any calls or made any push here, but certainly that statement from Rich Paul got a lot of people kind of looking at their spreadsheets and seeing what it would take to bring LeBron James to their market.
The summer of LeBron, part 4, 5, 6. Who knows at this point? Ian Begley, thanks for joining us on Honda Sports Night. CeeLo is back as we talk more LeBron. And what are your thoughts on this process of LeBron shaking things up in the NBA?
I mean, look, it's always an interesting name if it's going to be out there and there's the possibility of him moving to another team. From a Knicks standpoint, similar to Kevin Durant and the little chatter about that before he was ultimately moved, I don't really see how it fits, not even just from a team chemistry standpoint, because LeBron is such an A-lister, right? He is 1A. He's the alpha male, and the Knicks already have such a big part of their culture and their foundation here with Jalen Brunson and company. But just from a numbers standpoint, you talked about the player option and the number against the salary cap that it is. So for the Knicks, you'd be talking about Karl Anthony Towns. And then who's going to play center? Mitchell Robinson's going to step in as your starting center with Ariel Hawkporty backing him up. I don't quite see that as a full season fit. And if it's not that, maybe it's OG Anunoby with Mitchell Robinson. I just don't think the math works, and I don't think the fit works. So it's a fun name to get excited about, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah, there will definitely be some buzz about it, but to your point, doesn't make a whole lot. It's not a very logical move. All right, so how concerned are you, though, that the Knicks don't have a coach with free agency starting?
Yeah, I don't love it, and Ian alluded to it. I agree with him. I mean, look, the Knicks don't have a ton of cap space to work with, so it's not like they're out there talking to big fish or anything like that. But from a couple of standpoints of, number one, you want your coach in place so that he can identify the type of player he wants to work with. And for the Knicks, I think it's building out the bench and a deeper rotation, which is the one thing that was a bugaboo for them in the playoffs and kind of held them back a little bit. Not to get into the starter minutes and all that, but I think they want to have a more versatile, deeper bench they can go to both in the regular season and the playoffs. I'd like my coach in place to identify which guys he feels comfortable playing those bench minutes.
Well, the next coach might just be told you have to play the bench more minutes because that's what got the old guy fired.
Could be.
Chris, thanks for joining us here on Honda Sports Night.